Always, we're gonna record the session, be on YouTube, Sunday Market Blitz. Nick's gonna start it off.
Yeah, let's kick it off, guys. So like we normally do, I run through my method for how I like to look for setups and then, get into execution. And I'm going to do this with every single pair. I'm going to start off with DXY. It's not actually a pair we trade. This just shows the strength of the dollar. So DXY is essentially the US dollar. And it's good to be aware of this, right? The dollar makes up for such a large percentage of trade. You want to be aware of what trends are present and how that's going to affect, our perspective on the market. If it's making up for 80% of all trade, when you see DXY start to fall, you'll see a lot of the majors like AU, a lot of USD pairs, react accordingly. Even some of the crosses where USD isn't even involved, it still moves them to a degree if you see a large enough event happen here on DXY. So the method I'm going to go through on every single pair, I'm going to jump up to the daily time frame, clear up the chart, and then all we're gathering from here is the overall trend. What has the daily time frame been doing, right? And this is kind of the trend that showcases what the movement over the last few months have been, right? So that's really important to us. We want to know if that trend is going to continue, what it's looking like. Is it looking strong? Is it looking weak? What's our possibility with that? So here on DXY, we can see price actions moving up. So strong characteristics of an uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, at a pretty steady mark, right? You don't want it to be too, parabolic where it's going straight up, or, perfectly vertical, and you don't want it to be too horizontal. A nice steady, movement, that's a healthy trend. And that's what we're seeing here on DXY, right? Very clearly, we don't need any trend lines, no indicators. We can pretty much see what we need to see just by following price action, right? Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and so on and so on. So we're at a high now. Price action is pulling back a little bit, but did we break any sort of higher low, right? That would say to us, okay, this is looking more bearish. We have a trend change. That hasn't happened yet. And we're pretty far away from it just due to the volume. We can see this was a huge, upward leg, and now it's got to come back a little bit. So still very much bullish. That's the first step. Now we're going to jump to the 4-hour with that daily trend in mind, and then see what's going on here. Now this time frame highlights the movement for the week the best from my perspective. So this is going to tell me, what the potential is for this week ahead. Where potentially we could see some sort of setups. Is it going to bounce? Is it going to break? And so on. So let's follow price action again here on the 4-hour. Price action pushed up. We got our high here, established our 0%. Started consolidating a little bit, nothing too long, nothing too crazy, but it did come back. So here's the pullback, and now price action is resting right at 112, which lines up right with our 38.2% fib level. So from here, we're looking for reactions off this level. Is this going to, reverse? Is it going to bounce and then continue the overall bullish trend? A little too soon to tell. We need a little bit more price action. Ideally, a little bit more consolidation, and then some nice bullish variations to give us confidence that this is going to push higher, right? Now, if we take out 112, right, we break this support level, start moving below, start seeing lower lows, lower highs, characteristics of a downtrend, then it would say to us, this is looking more bearish. The likelihood of this continuing down towards, lower support levels is very high, right? If we take this level out. So that's what we're looking for this week, right? Really just reactions around 112, and then we're going to play it, as it lies. So that's DXY. Now we're going to jump over to our first tradable pair and apply the same method, right? Daily time frame to start. Let's clear everything up, make it super, super simple, and then just follow the trend here on the daily. So again, this is the movement over the last few months, right? And this is what's, pretty important to us. We want to know what has happened in the last few months, right? So price action went bearish here, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So very clearly, this is moving down in a pretty, steady pace. There was a bit of chop in here. We spent a long time around this zone, 0.685, but overall, it is still very bearish. So we can take that information, right, that daily trend, and now drop to the 4-hour and see what the weekly price action, right, the price action for the week ahead, what's that looking like? Okay, so here we are on the 4-hour. Huge bearish leg as of recently, right? This thing just tanked right after 0.67, broke this level, hit a low, gave us a lower high, took out this next support level, and gave us our most recent lower low right here at 0.64. So price action reversed from there, pushed up to 0.65, gave us structure, right? We threw a fib on this. This is where conviction stepped in. So we did 100% to the low, 0% down here. Okay, so 100% to the high, 0% to the low. Price action hit that, pulled up, and then gave us structure. So this is technically an active trade, as it did pull up, form structure, and then gave us Really nice conviction. So there were entries on this candle on the 1 hour time frame. Good execution in there. And then this was a play down towards the support level. This is what it looked like. Just like that. So it is technically active. You could have either taken some profit at 0.64 or looked to play it down towards our final target at the -27. So it's kind of, hard to suggest a trade at this moment because it is an active trade already, right? So we need to see a few things happen. Either this is going to bounce now and head back up towards 0.65, and then we'll get some sort of re-entry opportunity if it does reject. So that's a possibility. We're aware of that. Right? We're right at 0.64. We saw massive rejection from it before, so it could happen again. Or the opposite. This, plays out, pushes below 0.64, hits our final target, and then we'd be looking for lower highs below 0.64, right? And this would be, if you're already in this trade, a scale-in opportunity or just another great entry opportunity. So this is what it would look like, right? Confirm lower high below key resistance. That'd be absolutely perfect. And then we'd readjust our fibs, right? Bring it down to here. This is where the latest conviction was, new low, and then we'd look for a new structure below that for extra confirmation, right? We want that confluence. The more confluence, the higher probability the trade setup will be. So that's what we're looking at right now on AU. But, really just reactions at 0.64, bounce or break, and then we'll take it from there. That's AU. Let's get over to AJ. This one's looking a little bit better. Let's go to the daily time frame to start. Same thing. What's the overall trend? Okay, so this one, we could zoom out a little bit. Okay, so let's just follow price action. What has it been doing? We saw a huge rally here. Got a nice higher high up here, pulled back, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high over here after a bunch of consolidation. That's what this is here. A lot of resistance, a lot of support, just clean consolidation. And then it finally broke to the upside. So we're pretty bullish all the way up until this point. But now, right, huge bearishness after we hit 98. Came back down. We took out these levels in here, right? Started forming lower lows. Not really a lower high yet, but definitely lower lows. So this is looking more bearish now on the daily. This is a lot of bearish pressure. And another good thing to note is just the size of the candles. That's a good way to kind of, pull the volume information from the chart. Look at the size of these bearish candles in comparison to, what we've seen recently. Right? They're like 3-4 times the size almost. Right? So that's a clear indication that there's a lot more bearish, volume in the market than, bulls. So they're winning the fight right now, but we got to go down to the 4 hour and see what is going on for the week ahead. Is this going to, sustain as a bearish trend, or is it going to reverse? So that's what we're here to find out here on the 4 hour. So here is a nice bearish channel. This is that recent drop up from 98 resistance, right? All of this is that downtrend that we just looked at on the daily. So it is respecting these trend lines. We are bouncing off 95, just below, and we're having some trouble, right? It's kind of consolidating. Price action is looking a little choppy. It's not the clearest, but it is still within this channel. So, whoops. Okay, so it's looking a little bit choppy up until this right here. So we're getting some nice bearish conviction. This was more or less an entry signal. Nice double engulfing in a row, right at nice confluence area. Lots of rejection in the past and an established lower high. And also, our 38 too. So this is very good. And this was a clean entry. And it is an active trade. Right now we're at minor support 93. It's looking like it's, it's already broke it. We're having some, rejection from it now. We have to see if that's going to hold up and if this will just, continue with this trade all the way down towards our -27. So that's the likelihood for, this week. It's going to keep pushing lower. If you do catch a lower high below 93, if it's really clean price action and you feel confident in it, you could kind of, double up on this trade or, get in right about here. And you would still get a pretty good risk reward. Again, it has to reject C body closure below 93. You don't want to see any candles above. You want to see if anything wicks shooting to the upside and then body closure below. Then I would, be pretty interested and, confident in taking a short from here. Right, and a pretty good trade. Based on these numbers, we're looking like we're risking 40, looking to get around 170, just over a 4-to-1 risk reward. So not bad. That's one possibility for this week. Now, what's the opposite scenario? What do we have to see on AJ to consider this more bullish? And that would be a break of these prior lower highs, right? And 38 too. That'd be the first step. And I don't know if I would exactly buy this if we just break above, get a higher low, because look what we have right above this, right? Pretty close, 95 resistance, which is a pretty significant resistance level. So this would be the first step, right? Pushing up to this level, up to 95, and then looking for reactions from there. If we clear above this and start seeing strong characteristics of a bullish trend, higher highs, higher lows, really confident in higher lows, then I would, switch my bias and be confident in longing AJ. But for now, I mean, everything here says it's pretty much bearish. It has to prove a lot to change my decision. So yeah, that's AJ, not bad. Let's move over to UJ. You guys could already see from here, it's not setting up too great, but let's go to the daily first. And let's assess UJ. So UJ has just been riding the back of the dollar, as you guys know. And this is a little more exaggerated than the movement on the dollar we're seeing because this is UJ. It's compared to the yen, which is obviously not doing so great right now. So you're seeing this dramatic effect. Dollar's going up, JPY is going down. You're seeing UJ just shoot off to the moon. So let's just follow price action. Back in March, we were at 115, rallied up to 130. That's our higher high. Got a higher low, 126. Next higher high at 139 area, higher low, higher high, and so on. So very much bullish. Just for analysis, I want to show you guys this. UJ has appreciated by 26% since March. That's insane. It's crazy, crazy movement. And it's all due to, the dollar just running uncontrollably. So that's where we're at with UJ. Super, super bullish. Definitely a little overextended for our liking, but let's go to the 4-hour and see what the potential is for the week ahead. Okay, so we have a little bit of chop up here at the high. We've been having a lot of trouble breaking 145. Look at all this rejection. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a ton of consolidation right here. So it's been struggling. We are resting there now. So really this week, we're looking to see if 145 is finally going to be broken or if price action is going to be pushed back down. And then we'll catch some nice short opportunities, in this week. So right now, just consolidation up here, tight consolidation. It is resting at resistance. So that's really showing a lack of bears. Normally you want to see, rejection like this when you're at a key level that's supposed to have a lot of significance. Usually there's a lot of orders there. You're going to see a lot of rejection like this, huge, sharp rejection. But look now, right? We're spending a lot of time in this area, so it is weakening. Right, so the likelihood for this week, if we do continue bullish, overall bullish, right, we're going to see a break of 145, an actual higher high above, which is what we failed to get in the past. These wicks don't count. And then an actual higher low above, right? And that's what we, again, failed to get in the past. That'd be good structure. We'd be looking to move higher from there. Now, keep in mind, guys, UJ is at a crazy high. We haven't seen this level of price action in a very long time. So be careful longing this. Just a general note, right? We know it's tied to the dollar. It's unsustainably climbing. So just be careful with UJ. Definitely at the bottom of my watch list, just because of how susceptible it is to these crazy runs. All right, but if it does reverse, if we do reject from 145, this is a much more safe trade in my opinion. I would definitely like to see it break this range, push lower, catch a lower low, followed by a lower high, and then I would begin shorting. It's due for a pullback. I know that I could play between these zones quite a bit just because we failed to break 145 for so long. So that would be an interesting setup. If I did see something like that, I would probably, entertain the idea of trading UJ. All right, but that's where we're at for this week. If you guys have any ideas on UJ, interested to hear it in chat, so just let me know. All right, let's move over to EJ. Same thing, guys. Daily time frame. Where are we at? Where have we been? What's the overall trend? So we've been moving higher here. Nice rally to a higher high, followed by a higher low, higher high. There was a bit of a downtrend here, right? We broke this higher low, so this was a reverse. We were in a downtrend for a little bit of time until we got to this point. We started consolidating, took out this lower high with this move. So now we're back to bullish. Okay. Here's our first higher high, higher low, bouncing from there. So it looks like it's going to continue bullish. Okay, hopefully you guys follow that. We were bullish, bearish here, back to bullish. All right, so let's go back down to the 4-hour and try and make sense of what's happening this week. Okay, so we covered this one a couple weeks ago. This was a nice head and shoulders pattern. Finally broke the neckline. Pretty aggressive break, not gonna lie. Huge wick to the upside, and then it just fell off a cliff. So this thing actually went a little bit further than we thought. It shot all the way down towards 137.5 area before reversing or, finding any sort of support. And we broke here. So it started pushing up again, right? So it broke this lower high, broke key level or key resistance at 140, got our first higher low above, and now we're, looking more bullish. But, what do we see? Where's price action now? It's resting right at 142. It's struggling a little bit, but, a little bit of consolidation. Maybe this is a pattern forming. It's not, uncommon after, a change of trend. That's actually what you want to see. You want it to spend a little bit of time in consolidation, not too much and not too little, almost like a perfect amount. And, we're kind of still within that range. So the potential for this week is if this does continue bullish, we'll look for a break above 142. And then we're looking for retests, higher lows. That's where we're going to enter, just like this trade tool here suggests. We're going to target about 165 pips, right around the 144 resistance level. We're going to risk about 50. And it looks like it's just over a 3-to-1. So not a bad trade. If you risk 1%, you're getting 3.3 back if this trade executes. So that's really not bad at all. 2%, you're getting 6.6 back. Okay. So really nice stuff. Now, if this reverses, right at 142, I don't know if I would necessarily take a short because we can hit 140 and still bounce from there. In my opinion, for this to be full-blown bearish again, we really need to start seeing lower highs below 140. This reversal here would be the first step in changing our bias. Okay, now that doesn't mean there isn't a trade available here. This is just based on swing trading, prioritizing the 4-hour time frame. Now, I know some of you guys in here scoping this out already. You've seen some sort of consolidation. We're here on the 15-minute. See something like this. There's always, some potential for setups, but this would be more of an intraday, more of a scalp setup, and you'd be looking to play it down towards 140, right? And this would just be prioritizing, a 30-minute bearish trend or a 15-minute bearish trend, right? Depending on how you trade. So it really comes down to which time frame and which trends you're prioritizing, and then that's where your style is gonna, your style is gonna be. Okay, so that's the potential for EJ this week. Reactions at 142. We'll see what happens. But let's move on to gold. This is going to be the last asset that I analyzed for you guys. It's looking pretty good, looking interesting. I always like ending with gold. It's just a little bit simpler way of analyzing, right? Because I only prioritize really zones. I don't bring on really any indicators. It's really just zone to zone play on gold for me. Okay, so we're here on the daily. Same method we're applying here as well. What's the overall trend? Right? Huge bearish leg here. First lower low, a little bit of consolidation. We established a lower high in here. Another bearish leg to the lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay, so very much bearish. Right? This thing has actually been melting quite a bit. So let's just do it from here. This is where the trend changed when we took out this consolidation back in April. So from April to now, actually we'll do exactly now. We've lost 13.5% value on gold. It's pretty massive, right? That's a pretty big dip on gold. Anyone who's holding like bricks of gold right now, keep holding, keep holding. So overall bearish. Let's go to the 4-hour now. All right. Might be a good time to start buying gold, actually, if this goes any lower. If we get to the 1500 an ounce mark. But anyway, we're here on the 4-hour. What's the movement for the week ahead looking like? Right, really actually clean trend. It's giving us a lot of time to, process what's happening in the sense that we're getting these huge bearish legs, right? Then we're spending a good amount of time in consolidation before the next move. So that's actually really nice. And it's giving us these ranges, and ranges, in my opinion, are super easy, to follow because you're just looking for a break of the range. Either resistance is going to give or support is going to give. And then we're going to follow that new trend from there. So this has actually been really nice. Nice large range here. There's the bearish leg. Nice tight range here up against key resistance, which was perfect. Then it came in with a nice, nice bearish setup, taking us down towards 1630. So it is, pushing up a little bit now. We did break this lower high. So the 4-hour is actually looking a little bit more bullish, but I'm not convinced yet. I'm not sold on that because we still have 1675, which is proven to be a huge level in the past as both support and resistance, actually. So I'm thinking something like this is possible where we just consolidate again, and then we'll get the next bearish leg. Again, the overall trend suggests that. So I'm really not going to try and predict anything. I'm just going to follow. So we've marked up a trade here. Price action could reverse. Then we're looking for lower highs below this level here. I'll go ahead and put a label on it so you guys know what level it is. 1660. If we see a lower high below this, I will feel confident in shorting. First target would be 1630, followed by a new low down at 1600. Okay, so pretty good. Pretty good. Either way, you're getting a really good risk reward. Even at 1630, it's 3-1. Risking 80, looking to get about 250. Not bad at all. So for all of this to be wrong, right? Let's say our bias is completely wrong. It's not going to go bearish anymore. In fact, it's going to push above and break 1675. Give us our first higher high on the 4-hour above the zone. And then we'll look for structure. So the first higher low above 1675 is what we're interested in. And if that's convincing enough, we will take a potential long opportunity. Right, and there's going to be a few levels along the way, but this is going to be at least a 3-1. Right, ultimately we'll look to target 1740, but look for reactions at this range here. Okay, so minor level here, minor level here. You just have to see how price action reacts at these zones and how this high reacts. But again, minor, right? Normally we're playing 4-hour zone to 4-hour zone. So that's really what we're interested in. But we are still pretty far away from that happening, right? We are trend traders at the end of the day. So the highest probability trade is going to be this bearish one, right? Targeting these support levels. Okay, so that's gold. That's what we're looking at for this week. And that's all the pairs I got for you. I'll do a quick recap. I covered DXY, AU, AJ, UJ, EJ, and gold. And these are posted as like live charts. So they're here on TradingView. We drop the links in Discord and Telegram, and you guys can actually pull these up throughout the week and hit the play button. There'll be a play button present, and it'll pretty much play forward price action up until whatever day you're looking at it. So they're like, active live charts. Pretty valuable. Some members like to use them. But yeah, they're there all week. So I'm going to pass it off to Angelo. Hopefully you guys got some good analysis out of this.
Yeah, good work with the analyses. Just as a reminder, guys, if you are on the Sunday Market Blitz, post on your IG story, tag the funded trader and tag Forex League. Show everybody that you are on the story or on the session because we're doing a giveaway. So in order to enter, just post on your story, tag us in the story. I already see a bunch of people already posted on there and tagged us. So make sure you guys do that. You're on here, so you might as well enter for a chance to win. We've got a bunch of people on here, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna hop into doing some analysis for the week. As always, we're gonna kind of start off just looking at the analysis from last week. We're also gonna take a look. Give me 1 second. We're going to take a look at some fundamentals as well. And normally we cover them in the beginning, but we didn't get a chance to. So we're going to look over that as well.
Very important stuff. Got to be aware of any high impact events. Don't want to get caught off guard.
All right, let me know if you see my screen.
Yeah, good to go.
All right, so let's start off. Forex Factory, red folders for the week, everybody. We've got a bunch of news events Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, we've got nothing. Friday, we've got a bunch of things coming on. Obviously, we have NFP this week, which is always going to be a huge driver in the market. So we want to look out for that. Give me 1 second. Get the chat up here. If you have any questions, just drop in the chat while we're going. All right, so Monday, we've got this ISM manufacturing PMI. I personally am not too aware as to what this is including, but what I like to do is just look at history. You can come in here and actually just check a little bit more as to why, we should potentially be looking at this event. What I do like to do is see like how much are they surveying. So in this one, you can see survey about 300 purchasing managers with actual correspondence to rate their relative level of business conditions, including employment. So you want to kind of gauge whether this is going to be significant based on, in my opinion, how many people or how many businesses they are actually surveying. And then you could see the forecast over the last several months. The last 2 months, it's actually beat the forecast. So it's come in above, which is interesting. So we'll see it's currently trending upwards, which is basically saying that overall in the US, manufacturing is improving, which is interesting. And then we've got these AUD and CHF events, 2 AUD events, so definitely want to be mindful of what these are. Looks like the forecasts have come in on this one pretty much the same every single time. So it's interest rate charged on overnight loans. So this one, considering it has not been different than the forecast the last several months, we're going to leave it at that. And then RBA statement, I'm not going to say this has a lot to do or this is going to be too significant. And then coming over to this one, this is something that we always want to look at: job openings, looking at how they impact the market. This kind of gauges what direction companies are trending in regards to their own finances and whatnot, whether there's more jobs available. This one, let's see, forecast. Last month, it actually beat the forecast. And then as we could see, the month previous, it came in a little bit less, but the prior several months, looks like overall it normally beats the forecast. It's normally more positive than negative. So if you're in USD trades, definitely be aware of this coming out. Then we've got some NZD news. And then later in the week, as we mentioned, Friday is going to be like a crazy day with a lot of volatility. So what I would do if you're going to be in trades, just come on here, even if you're in the challenges, because it's going to move the market whenever these come out. Just if you're in a USD trade, if you're in an AUD trade, right, just come over here, see what time it's going to be released, monitor what the actual numbers come out to be based on the forecasted results, and then see how that's impacting the market or the pair that you're trading, and then the overall market as well. So this is going to be a crazy week, definitely a crazy week, news wise, for all the people that are in here that are currently in the competition. So let's come over here. So TFT competition, I mentioned this at the beginning of the session. If you guys are in the competition this month, pretty much we're updating a few things tomorrow, few bugs that we found. We're adding a search bar here, but as you can see, guys, the month has already started. We've got the leader, he's currently up 18%, currently up 18,000 on his account. We did have that somebody mentioning about, the lot size rule and stuff like that. So he's probably going to be removed. But if you haven't participated in the competition, definitely recommends you guys participating for next month. If you want to participate, just come into the TFT leaderboard or Trade Hub, just come into competitions, press register right here, and then you guys will be registered for the following month's competition. So let's hop into the analyses for the week. I am going to cover, Nick said I'm going to cover GJ. If you want anything else, if you guys want anything else covered, feel free to post in the comments. So we're going to look at first DXY from last week. Let's hop up to the weekly time frame. And what I like to do on here, I'm going to actually just remove everything, and we're just going to start fresh just because things were getting a bit crowded there. I like to do a few things here, mark down what are my key levels that I'm looking at, and all that is previously where has price come to and rejected or found support at with a lot of volatility. I like to look at the trends, and then I like to look at price action. The trend is obviously very bullish. Anybody can see that. But let's go ahead and mark down some of the levels here. So let's zoom out a bit, and I can already tell right here based on what I can see, this is definitely going to be a key level. So we've got resistance here, we've got support right there. So all I'm really looking for is where has price previously hit a level and either rejected with a lot of volatility or found support with a lot of volatility. Clearly, this is an area where that has happened. Then we have these 3 peaks right here. So let's start to go back a little bit more and see if we could find another area. So I'm going to go ahead and just zoom in a little bit. We're going to focus. Oh man, what was that? We're going to focus mainly on this right here. And I'm just going to mark down, this is going to be another key level for me. So all I'm basing it on is we have some resistance here, support here, support here. I'm going to adjust this just a little bit And then let's come all the way back to where price currently is right now. So these are really the main two levels for me. Obviously, we have these three kind of peaks right here, where price had a lot of rejection, but on the flip side, not seeing a ton of support in that area. I'm not going to go all the way back to there. So we're just going to leave this. I don't want to crowd the chart right now. Let's just go ahead and zoom in and see like what is actually going on based on the level we put. So we are in the red zone. So we're like right around the red zone. We're actually right in the middle of it. Last week, as you could see, we had this reversal candle right here. Call this maybe a spinning top, just because we have a wick to the bottom, wick to the top. Definitely on the lower time frame, some sort of break of structure. And we're obviously at a high point right here after this push to the upside, broke this previous resistance, found support. So could this reverse? Could DXY be reversing to retest, previous level of support right now? Considering we did get this reversal candle, we are definitely going to see some sort of impulse to the downside to retest. Maybe it's this level, this level, this level right here. But I am anticipating some sort of reversal on DXY. Now, coming down to the 4-hour time frame, we can clearly see price has broken structure right here, and we're just forming this bearish structure right now. So we have this lower low, this lower high point. Now we're retesting this previous resistance level. So if this thing is going to continue to the downside to retest a previous high point, which again could be, let's take this off, again, could be any of these levels, could be this level. I'm just going to mark out pretty much right here because this is the previous high point right there. So if price is going to continue to the downside, it's going to hit some rejection right here, and it's just going to continue on this trend, forming these lower lows and lower highs until we get back down to this previous high point, where we could see then that consolidation and then a break to the upside, right? So this is all just forecasting right now based on where price action currently is, right? This does look like we are rejecting resistance, and this thing could continue to the downside. Now, to the upside, obviously, overall, DXY is just in an uptrend, right? We come back up to the weekly. We are just in an uptrend. Personally, I would want to see something similar to this. Again, a little impulse down, some sort of retest to support, just to solidify kind of where we're at right now. Price could just continue to surge to the upside right now, but again, I can't per se forecast that unless we see some break of resistance early in the week, and then it bounces and moves to the upside. So I'm more forecasting DXY to be bearish this week. Obviously, interested what you guys think about the dollar. We have again a lot of news coming out for this week. Let's go ahead and see. Let's get this off and see why I don't have my news events on here. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know why I don't have my news on here, but just like we saw in Forex Factory, ton of news events coming out for this week. So definitely be mindful of that. It's going to move the dollar pretty dramatically. So coming over to GU, last week we were all the way down at the support level right here, coming up to the weekly time frame. Let's go ahead and look. So coming into last week, this is right where we're at. Right here, right, we had this no wick to the downside, huge bearish candle, which just closed 4.7% to the downside, which is obviously pretty wild. And then it followed it up where it hit this level. And for those that weren't on last week's call, all that level is this previous support level that was marked right here. Remember, we're in some crazy territory with GU. We haven't been near this price in a long ass time. So we were expecting a bounce from that level of support. And then as you can see last week, we did get that bounce. So price rejected here, ended up closing. Now we're kind of on the retracement right here. We still overall are in a downtrend very clearly. Coming down to the 4-hour time frame, we could see that there was a break of structure. So this thing, and this is what we forecasted last week. We wanted it to come down to this level, right? Consolidate, and then break, retest, and go to the upside. So that roughly is what happened. So now, what are we looking for? And if we are looking to continue with this bearish trend, we are in the perfect position right now to look for sells. So I say that because I have this weekly level of resistance right here. This thing has previously rejected this level with a ton of volatility. I'm just gonna zoom out a little bit. I'm actually gonna keep going. Let me see. I'm just gonna adjust this a little bit here. I'm gonna move this up. So actually gonna move that level up. I don't know why the level was there. All right, so like I was saying, the weekly trend overall very bearish. We're looking for some sort of retracement now to continue with this bearish trend. We're gonna come down here. So considering I just adjusted this area, I would personally not be looking for any sort of entries unless price came up back into this weekly level of resistance. We had some sort of consolidation here, and then price broke to the downside. So by me drawing this, I'm pretty much just anticipating GU to continue to the upside. That correlates well with DXY, where we were mapping out DXY to go to the downside, which means the dollar would be losing strength. So that would mean GU would be accelerating to the upside. We have a lot of room for this thing to actually move to the upside. We have about 2.6% on this one. So definitely a lot of room to move to the upside on here. Just don't be trigger happy. Wait for the consolidation up here. Wait for some sort of bearish price action confirmation. Again, guys, this is more of a swing trading approach, which is why we're all the way on the 4-hour time frame. And then coming up again to the weekly, that would just be retesting that previous support level right there. And we could obviously fib this if we wanted to as well. But this is just overall a good safe area to look for the next kind of swing sell position. So that's GU. Let's hop over to NZD USD. So originally we were in this trade all the way over here. Obviously this is done. So let's take this off and let's take a look at what happened last week. So overall, we're just in this downtrend, and pretty much last week we were anticipating price to come into this 565 area. As you can see, we're anticipating the consolidation, right? Some sort of break of structure, and then boom. And this is what we were anticipating, and then move to the downside. So this thing did not end up playing out. It did start to consolidate, it did break the resistance and then form support, and then it just didn't find the volatility at this level. Did end up going up about 50 pips. But now we've just broken and we're back very clearly into a downtrend, which is fine. I mean, the setup's not always going to play out the way that we anticipated to. It is what it is. So looking at where we are now, there's just a ton of bearish volatility right now, right? So overall, weekly clear downtrends, 4-hour time frame just broke into a downtrend, right? We're coming to retest now this previous resistance level right here. We have this nice red zone marked right there. And let's just come up to the weekly and let's just scroll back. We're looking at this area. This was previous support right in there. Let's just go ahead and drag this. And then let's go further back and see if we can adjust this at all. So it looks like we had basis, we had resistance here, we had support here. We didn't have much going on here. Oh, we actually had the support level right there. And I'm just re-justifying why I have this level here. And then we have the support right here. So this is definitely an area that price previously has been in and has rejected, which is what I'm personally looking for. And then coming to the 4-hour, considering the momentum here, this is the type of trade that I would put a sell limit on. So I'd be doing something like this. I'd be targeting this next zone down here. I'd be throwing stops, above this level, depending where the actual entry gets in. But this is a swing trade. So some people might be like 100 pip stop loss, or we're targeting 300 pips, right? So this would be a 3-to-1 trade regardless of what the stop loss would be. I'm targeting here because this is the previous support level right there. This is different idea than GU and DXY. This is basically assuming that NU is going to continue to go to the downside, which is obviously different than GU. And I personally kind of like to have different ideas on each of the pairs, because if this thing ends up playing out, and GU doesn't end up playing out, then it is what it is, right? So just good, in my opinion, just have different ideas. So again, this is NU. If you guys want to get in on this, I'm personally going to put a limit order here, 56600. Putting stops up here, and then I'm just putting the targets all the way down here, 5348, around that area, and we'll just see what happens. So that's NU. Let's go over to GU or GJ. I'm sorry. So last week, GJ had so much volatility that it actually hit a level that we did not anticipate it to hit. So coming into last week, basically we had talked about these sells from this resistance level all the way up here. And then I marked how we basically broke the trend. So we broke this trend line. We've been trending bullish for quite some time. This broke it. Now we needed to officially follow that up with a bearish candle that closed below this area to fully transition to the downside. And as you can see, we actually ended up pulsing all the way down into 14894, which we did not anticipate happening. This is an extremely key level because look at all of the support here. Look at all of the resistance here, right? Even going further back, ton of consolidation in this area, indecision. So price pulsed in that area, and we were just looking for price to retest and then move into that area, but it didn't even give us any sort of entry. And then we actually closed all the way back up here, right? So one could argue that this actually is maintaining now this bullish trend. Considering we held support right here, we're holding the trend line now. So what am I basically getting at? What I'm getting at is price is going to now make another move back up into this red zone, right? So we're going to come back up into this red zone, and we're going to start to consolidate like we've done previously a bunch of times, and we're either going to break to the downside, or could we finally get the break on GJ to the upside, right? This is personally how I see this playing out. Again, weekly time frame, huge impulse move last week, closed bullish. There's nowhere else to go besides back into this red zone right here. 4-hour time frame, broke structure. So now we're in this like mini bullish trend on the 4-hour. So yeah, look for GJ, make its way back up to 165 area, and then from there we'll see what the play ends up being. So that's GJ. Let's go over to UCAD. So very similar to NU last week. UCAD, I was basically looking for this consolidation move at the level, and the dollar was just way too strong. So what we're going to do is we're going to just clean up some of this, because when I have something like that happen, I like to just take a step back, zoom out a bit, see where we're at, and draw some new levels here. So I'm going to draw a new area right here. Reason I'm drawing this is I'm looking at this level of support, which price popped off, and then this level, which price popped off right there. And then if we even come further back, we could even drag this thing all the way back in this area. And we can see a ton of resistance here, support here. We had this resistance here where price fell off a cliff. So it's kind of ironic that it's right where price actually is. But this is definitely a level to be mindful of. And then zooming out again, I want to grab another level to the upside in the event that price continues to break. And this is a good level right here. This is based on resistance, support, resistance, resistance, resistance right there. And then let's just zoom in a little bit more, and let's try to get one more level here to the downside. So I'm going to mark this level right here. I'm not going to go too wide with it. But basically what I'm looking at, I'm actually just going to adjust this a little bit. Basically what I'm looking at is how price pushed all the way off of this level. So obviously this was a price where a ton of buyers stepped in. Sellers, sellers, sellers right there. We had some buyers here, sellers here. So these are, and obviously most recently price pushed off of this level. So as price is in this zone right now, I'm personally looking for one of two things, right? Looking for reversal. So for price to start to consolidate, which one could argue that has already done this. But for price to consolidate and then break and then move to the downside, or price does continue to accelerate, cleanly breaks to the upside, and then moves into the next level. So we would not be taking any sorts of entries unless price does either this, we'll just move this one down here, or we would enter more in this area if price does move to the downside. So UCAD, we'll see how this thing plays out for the week. I personally, looking at the price action right now and looking at how I think DXY is going to move to the downside just based on how price action is forming, I would assume that UCAD is going to push to the downside as well and is going to find some resistance and then move again to the downside. So I'm going to move this one up. We've got UCAD. This one's just forecasted. We've got NU. So these are NU is the number one pair for the week. And then we've got NAS 100. So NAS 100, we had marked down last week that we wanted to come into the red zone. We originally were in this sell. We were not closing until we got to the red zone. Now we're going to close that. And we're pretty much looking, all right, so once price comes to the red area, this weekly level support, we were looking for support to hit, form some sort of consolidation, break to the upside, right? That clearly did not happen. Thing just rejected, moved to the downside. So this is actually a very easy play for NAS 100. We don't want to overthink or overcomplicate things. Just fell below support. Clearly it's in a downtrend. I mean, yes, we could kind of look at how news is going to play out for this week, but again, don't want to overcomplicate this thing. I mean, this thing is just trending to the downside right now. And if we come to the 4 hour, right, like we would want this to close and then we would want some sort of follow-up on this one, retest this red area, and then we'd have to come back up to the weekly, right? Like where could NAS potentially fall? I mean, it's already fallen from the top here. It's fallen about 34%. I think I was looking at some statistics about the equities market and basically how this year it's overall down like over 20%. I don't have the exact statistics in the top of my head, but only out of all the other times that this has happened, and it's over 10 times. I don't want to say the exact number. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. There was only 3 times where for the year from this point forward, it was positive. So what I'm trying to get at is more likely that the market is going to continue to be bearish through the end of this year. Although midterm elections are coming up and they're going to want to make the market look as though it is healthy and is accelerating and that everything's going good, and that's just political nonsensory. So we'll see how much of an effect that can have. Clearly the conditions overall are just extremely bearish with NAS 100. So we'll kind of see if this keeps up. But if you were to tell me to take a trade right now, I would probably bet on the side of continuing to short NAS 100, looking at the next level of support. It's kind of tough because there is not another level all the way until this area right here. And so for us to say that we're going to take a swing trade for 11%, that NAS 100 is going to continue to move down 11%, is kind of hard to stomach, hard to think that that's going to happen. But just based on technical analysis, not considering fundamentals at all, this is what I would assume what would be happening. Now, on the flip side, if this thing does have a surge and manages to break the resistance, then we're going to be looking to target back up in this 11,800 area right there, which is totally possible, more driven by fundamentals than anything else right now, because the market overall is just bearish, and that's what technicals are showing us. So last but not least, we're just going to come over to our favorite pair, BTC. For people that have been on here before, they know that I'm currently running the strategy. So we're going to change this to the Conqueror strategy. So we'll see if this plays out. We've gone over BTC every single week. We're going to continue to do so, but basically, you know, my play is to just continue to dollar cost average into BTC. The next level that I'll buy in at is 12,000, then I'll buy in at 4,000, and then if everything fails and we just lose all our money and that's it. So it's, you know, it's pretty sound strategy here. Just set and forget it pretty much. So price action on BTC is just super bearish. So it's very likely that this thing is going to push to the downside. We have what is it at? 19. I always forget. Crypto's just got the volatility is insane. So this would be a 34% move down on BTC, which is totally possible. So yeah, I mean, if we come to this level, I'll be buying in. And if you guys want to buy in as well, feel free to do so. Last week we went over total market cap, you know, how that interrelates with BTC. Total market cap right now is at 886 billion, you know, down from 3 trillion. So if you put this into perspective, right, in the equities market, this is not even larger than Apple. I think it's like only 30% the size of Apple, and this is the whole crypto market. So if you guys want any reason to buy crypto, just it's so small, it's so early with the crypto market, and I don't just say that, just look at the numbers, and it's definitely worth taking a look. So we had some XRP, some pumps there based on their lawsuit finally getting, I guess, settled, and then Ethereum is just back in actually a decent spot to start to look for buys again. So once Ethereum comes into this area, that's when I'll personally look for buys, and then I'll be targeting on Ethereum, the moon, as always, be targeting 8,000, and we'll see what happens. So this is my crypto strategy, just money, play around, see what happens. So if you guys have any ideas, you know, feel free to post them up, but this is pretty much it. This is pretty much it for the week. Went over all my analysis. Nick went over all his analysis. We have some updates coming out for funded traders, so be sure to be in the Discord. On the Forex League side, we had just dropped the new program. It's like $40 for 10 videos. It's just me and Nick kind of talking about our experiences with prop firms and giving you guys some more information. So if you guys want to get that, it's a quick kind of short course. And yeah, you know, pretty much new month, Q4. So hope you guys are planning for the end of the year. Got to finish strong. And yeah, I know we will, and we'll be back next week.
Yeah, that's right. Q4 is here, guys. Already.
Yeah, no more McDonald's strategy, because I mean, for now we're gonna leave it for the Conqueror, because I'm feeling a type of way about crypto. I feel like there's gonna be a move. Whether it's to the downside or to the upside, something's gonna happen. It's more likely that's to the downside.
Yeah, based on the data. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. We're ready for, you know, either way.
Yeah, I mean, if it goes to the downside, guys, you know, just buy and just hold forever. I mean, just hold till you die. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, essentially. We're in it with you guys. You're not alone, I promise you.
Yeah, we're in it with everyone. So stay in touch in the Discord. If you want to reach out to me personally, best place is the Discord. That's where I'm at. Make sure to send me a friend request, and yeah, best of luck all of you this week with the challenges, trading your own account. Hope you guys do well, and we'll catch you guys on next week's Market Blitz.
Let's go. Take care, guys.
Peace out, everybody.